want to hear you, dog.
The much awaited review of Kendrick Midmar, my niggas, bro. It's finally fucking time.
Hey, no,
I said Kendrick Lamar.
No.
It might have rolled off the tongue a little bit. It might have rolled off the tongue just a little bit, bro. Yes, sir. Back with here now. It's been quite a while. We couldn't record last week because the homie Taco was visiting ATL. Taco, bro, how was your time in ATL, bro? How was your time in ATL, bro?
Beautiful, bro. I wouldn't. If I could do anything to have that weekend back again.
Damn.
I sacrificed my left, anyways.
You say you sacrifice your life to come back here? No way, man. All right, so Taco clearly had fun, bro.
I didn't see him once, but it's all good.
Why didn't you come see Z, Taco? What happened, bro?
Crazy. He just knew he would get flamed for saying
what?
He knew he was fucking flamed. Okay, we're gonna hear it.
0 out of 10.
Let's talk about it.
God damn, oh shit. We might as well go ahead and jump right into it then. All right, let's say less. All right, so what we're gonna do is go top one by one. Jeezy, how you feel about the album, bro? Honest opinions.
Tell him.
Oh my god.
Talk to these niggas.
Bro, this album, now this is just in my opinion, all right? This album is a masterpiece in his own working. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I had said this before. I think I said it up in the chat somewhere. I was talking to Light. I was talking to the homie Light. I was like, bro, people on Twitter, well, I can't even say Twitter, like anybody. People are not really liking the album because they just want to hear Kung Fu Kenny or Cornrow Kenny or anybody else like that Kendrick had personified as like a hard ass rapper. I'm like regardless, this nigga's a hard ass rapper. Like anything he spit is gonna be hard.
I mean, Twitter don't exist.
It may sound dumb. Yeah, Twitter don't exist.
Twitter don't exist. You got to let that go. Twitter don't.
I mean, like
they
niggas
called the
just,
Jack Harlem album mid. That shit was amazing. So
yeah, I even like that album too.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good album. It's just like
wait,
because that's not what they want to hear.
Hold on.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Hold on.
Did you say Jack Harlow's album was amazing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said I liked it. I didn't say that. I said I liked it.
No, I'm just saying I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, all right.
It was 10 out of 10.
Okay.
All right, you can go Jeezy.
So I'm gonna get back to what I was thinking about the album. Like, it's how he was. It's how he was really like telling the people like his Kendrick was really
good.
Yeah, bro.
Why are you trying to figure out why the fuck you're laughing? Are you
like are you good?
Why are you laughing?
That was you.
I'm talking about Z.
No,
this nigga giggling in the background.
Bro, I heard you.
Oh, I'm fighting someone. I wasn't. Yeah.
Bro, get off the game,
nigga. It's not a fucking boxing match, bro. Get off that bullshit. All right,
bro.
So, what do you rank this album out of 10, my nigga?
10. I gotta rank it out of 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love how Kendrick just put together this last TDE album on how like it's more like a mental health check type of album. You know what I'm saying? Like this album was something that came straight from the heart of Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's I can definitely see where you can judge it a 10. Absolutely. Is that what you got to say about it?
Well, because Kendrick, in the way he made it too, Kendrick really wasn't looking for a mainstream type of fit for the album like he did with Damn or The Pimp a Butterfly. He wasn't really seeking that type of iconic setting like he did with like the previous albums. I feel like he just wanted to make this TDE album for like a great goodbye with some good stories, very true stories, and that's it. A few jams went like I wasn't 100% bored with it, but it was truly a work of art. 10 out of 10 in my eyes, 100%.
All right, bet say less. All right, so I know I was talking a little spicy on the last podcast. I definitely was saying outlandish shit. I did call Kendrick a one-trick pony or whatever the words were.
Something like that.
It was something like that, but
something like that.
Took some time, took some time to meditate, sat with the album, watched a little bit of like BoJack Horseman, sat down with it. Yeah, you can definitely compare the two. Absolutely. This album was definitely really great. It was a really great album. I didn't really have any disappointments with it. The first time listened through, I did kind of have the same sentiments that Jeezy had, that, I don't really know where you're going to listen to this album outside of the first listen. But then, like, as I was going running, I would put on a lot of it. I put on the Rich interlude. I put on the other interlude by Baby Keem. I listened to Father Time. Like, there's definitely a lot of songs you can sit with while doing, like, outside of the first listen. Yeah, I definitely have a lot of respect for this album. Way more than I thought I would. I don't think I owe an apology because he still definitely tackled the thing of culture, but I definitely take back calling him a one-trick pony. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's what I gotta say. I think I rate the album a strong 9 out of 10. Either 8.5 or 9 out of 10, absolutely. This is a great album. A very great album. Is it top of the year? We'll see. I really, really think it's still gonna be in debate. Like, if somebody like drops a fucking banger album, I think somebody can be able to take it over. I don't like the fact that people are saying that he flopped just because he only sold 295K, which I guess we'll get into later. But yeah, I think it's an amazing album that still can be beaten. But I mean, we still got like a whole like 5-6 months left of the year, so I guess we'll see. What you feel about it, Taco?
So listen up. This album. So obviously, at first listen on midnight on the 13th, right? I decided to go in obviously with a clear head and everything like that. I didn't expect it to necessarily sound anything like the Hard Part 5, because all the songs in the Hard series usually are just like kind of promo-ish tracks. Nothing. It might tell a little bit of what the sound might be like for the album, but I usually just take it with a grain of salt or whatever. So I went into the project, obviously, like I said, open mind and everything like that. I did the first listen, so I listened to the first half, took like a few minutes to process it, and then I listened to the second half. Now, on first listen, just to go ahead and I guess give my thoughts, and I'm pulling up the album itself right now. On first listen, I was kind of thrown off by the time it got to like, maybe I guess I would say like the Rich Interlude or Rich Spirit, only because you have a song like United in Grief. So half of that was leaked previously, so I had listened to it. The little beat switch in the middle, I was like, okay, we're getting onto something. Then N95, obviously, you have like little banger on there, reminiscent of what he tried to do on some songs off of Damn. And then you have Worldwide Steppers. I thought that was a great song and everything like that. Die Hard, another nice little banger. I didn't necessarily like it as much as I do right now. I guess I could say that for the whole album, the album as a whole. But by the time I got to, like I said, Rich Spirit, I was kind of questioning, like, okay, we're almost halfway through the album. I low-key didn't hear anything like mind-blowing or didn't have the same feeling I did as by the time it got to halfway through Damn. Now, what does that say about me listening to it this time? I'm not sure. But I got to We Cry Together, and I'm like, all right, bro, like, this is kind of funny. But by the time Purple Hearts came around, I was like, okay, this might be less below an 8, like so far, the album itself. But obviously, listening into the second half, it's where it kind of lost me a little bit more on the first listen. Once again, everything I'm talking about now is on the first listen. So first off, the inclusion of Kodak Black and everything, it was kind of confusing to me in a little bit, just for the sake of the first thing I thought of, because he did have Nipsey in the Hard Part 5 video, kind of giving tribute and everything like that. And I remember like I guess this is like an argument for another time, but the whole thing with people what they say and like everything like that, because Kodak apparently had said that he wanted to like sleep with Nipsey's wife, Lauren London, after Nipsey like got killed. Rest in peace.
No way. So he said that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. And then I know people were talking about that as well. So they kind of like, in a sense, like they understood why Kendrick included him, but on the other hand, like it just didn't make sense. It didn't add up as to he was paying tribute to Nipsey on the Hard Part 5 in the video, but now you had introducing Kodak into the mix. But that's a side of the music aspect of it. So I went through the second half of the album, got to like Savior, another like little bit of a banger, Silent Hill as well. I still wasn't blown away by it, and it really hurt to, I guess, go through that and not feel blown away, because obviously I'm like a big Kendrick stan. I want to be blown away. I want to be, introduced to all this stuff. I want to be happy for him, because I love this guy's music. Kendrick has done so much for me as a person. And I know that the whole cliche is like, oh, X and X artist saved my life or whatever. But listening to Kendrick's music and having it, released throughout specific moments of my life that are very like, I guess, I don't know what the word would be, like pinnacle. it's really important. It's really like affected me and everything like that. So I got to the ending, Mirror, and I was like, okay, I like the little outro, you know, and I didn't know what to think. So I slept on it. I remember I DM'd YoFlame. And basically I didn't really have any thoughts for it. I just asked him for his thoughts, and we basically agreed on the same thing. The fact that the message in itself drove the album more than the music. Now, obviously, you want to have an important message if you're being like lyric, if you're telling like a story, if you're, you know, being like a storyteller, you know, like a J. Cole or like a Kendrick type of person, you know, obviously you're gonna have storytelling in your music. But to the point where the story drives the album instead of the music itself, it's not a good thing. And even if it's Kendrick, even if it's great storytelling and everything like that, the music is not mind blowing at the same rate that the story is, at least in my opinion. It does not work well for a great album. Now that being said, that was the first listen. That wasn't first impression. I did listen to it about 4 or 5 times. That's the next day. You know, that was like I guess the day before I went to ATL. But the next day I had some, you know, time, listened to it the whole day, listened to it on the flight to ATL, listened to it back from ATL, listened to it, I think one of the nights I was in my hotel. And by the time I had gotten back this week, and obviously at this point, when we're recording this podcast, at this point I've listened to it maybe around 15 or 20 times. And I have to say, what a drastic change in my thoughts and opinion for this album, because I couldn't stand the second part of the album. I guess it's kind of like switch. I couldn't stand the second part of the album. So the Mr. Morale side of it, like the second half, is the first half is the Big Steppers. It didn't do, like I said, it didn't do anything for me. But obviously, after listening to it so much, it makes so much sense in the scope of the album as a whole. The first half, aside from Rich Spirit, because Rich Spirit's okay. It doesn't really do anything for me. But everything else, honestly, that first let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I would include the fifth one as well. The first 5 tracks on on the album, United in Grief and 95, or Watch Steppers, Die Hard, Father Time, beautiful. I love it. I love that first half so much. You know, We Cry Together, it's like a necessary thing to add in there. Purple Hearts, it's a nice little inclusion of Summer Walker and Ghostface Killah. I love the first half, right? And after a few listens leading up to now, I would rate the first half like a 9 out of 10. Second half was around like a 7 out of 10. So averaging everything, I'd probably say it's like an 8 out of 10 for the album. But right now, as things stand right now, I would probably say the album is a 9 out of 10. I do think I know we'll get to the conversation after, but I do think that it's better than Damn. I do think this is probably third best album. It's not maybe Good Kid, Mad City, or T-Pap level, but it's still up there, and it's still like on the bridge of that Barely in a Little Gap. But it's a great album, and really, like I said, it sucks that it did have to take this many listens to kind of appreciate and listen to the whole thing and just understand what he was trying to say on this. But it's effective. It's not something that I think other like casual listeners will like or you know get back to. But obviously, someone like me who's going to want to try to go at least when I'm listening to it, aside from songs like N95 or Die Hard, there's nothing really I would go back to specifically, I guess, like to bump in the car or whatever, unless I listen to the whole thing. That's usually how I listen to albums, like, you know, throughout the whole thing. But for the true Kendrick fan, for the true fan of hip hop, whatever, I think they're really gonna focus this after a few listens. Definitely not on the first one. I gotta say, this album to me is a 9 out of 10.
All right, best say less. Jez, what you feel about it, bro?
So I'm probably more of the opposite of like a Z or a Taco or even YoFlame. Definitely more of a casual Kendrick enjoyer. Like he's like, I do of course respect him, man. I do see him as one of the best, if not the best in our generation as an MC. Very, very talented and great rapper, of course. Or not even rapper, the artist. Let me say artist, not rapper. Fuck that word. But well, I won't even say, but I did enjoy the album. I didn't listen to it as much as y'all did, like, 10 plus times. I probably gave it like maybe 3 listens total, if I'm being, very, very honest. Which I think is good, because it's a very varied, I guess, opinion. Because not everyone's like that's how Taco said. Not that every listener is not going to give it 10, 15, 20 listens. So I think it's good to have some type of variation. I do for sure appreciate the album. I feel like coming from a black man, a black person. He's talking about a lot of deep rooted trauma within the black community, of course, from his perspective and getting his own personal stories. But a lot of, especially black men, young black men, can really like feel what he was saying, especially on stuff like Father Time. That's like my favorite song on the album. And just because like I don't have my own father figure, I really never had any father figures in my life. So I've always looked to like, people like Corey and Belize, even Apollo and things like that, just to not to like guide me, but as like just something to look for and aspire for. Not everyone has something like that in their lives. So I just really enjoyed that song. I think the first time listening, I think I was on the opposite of Taco. I enjoyed the second half a lot more than the first half. I felt like the last 4-song run, Auntie Diaries, Mr. Morale, Mother I Sober, and Mirror. I thought that was a phenomenal last 4-song run. I really thought I love the outro. Like the outro was kind of was kind of groovy. It reminded me of that last Childish Gambino product in this sense of like the sound, but that's just me personally. I like the message off of Savior. I like how you came on there talking about him, Future, J. Cole, and LeBron. I love that. I love the overall tone of, even though people are kind of contradicting it already, but how he was kind of like, well, not the overall message of the whole album, but like, just saying that, I'm not a Messiah. I'm not your savior. Stop treating me as such. And he's kind of been saying this for a little bit now. But of course, people are still on Twitter. Like you said, Twitter's not real. People are just complete NPCs and bots and just still arguing about first week sales, still comparing him to J. Cole and still comparing him to Drake and Kanye and et cetera, et cetera. We'll get into that later. But yeah, it's a very, very solid album. I'd probably give it an 8.5, maybe itching towards a 9 out of 10. Out of his whole discog, I don't know. I can't really put it above or below Damn. I probably would. I don't know if I don't want to like tie it with Damn. I feel like they're both doing two kind of different things, different sounds. I enjoy Damn for a different reason than I enjoy this album. But I'm just glad that, like, I think like how Jeezy said, it was very just kind of him just releasing his trauma and being able to just still talk about the black struggle and things like that, but just it didn't feel old and tired. It felt still fresh and new. I really, really enjoyed that. But yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, Chongo, what about you, bro?
All right. Overall, obviously, I love the hell out of this fucking album. Like, when Damn came out, I was like 18. Now I'm 23. And like, for 5 years, not gonna lie, waiting for this, it was worth the wait. I gave it a 10, but like off of like the first listen when I was doing the midnight release or listening party, I fucking loved it. Like, I did not expect them to talk about some stories that I can deeply relate to, because I'm not gonna lie, Auntie Diaries, like growing up in a Hispanic household with like a lot of, like, I was young at the time, but I didn't understand with like, oh, my aunt is a man, or this, my uncle is a girl now. I was so confused, and like, I can relate to that, and I'm gonna have to go with, like Jess said, I love from, since it's a double album, I loved the Mr. Morale and the Steppers. I love both sides, obviously, and not gonna lie, like for his last TDE album, I love how this was like a final like hurrah, for that label company. Obviously he's gonna drop another album. We just don't know when. But it's like, I'm just happy Kendrick can finally like talk about the things he's been dealing with since he was a kid, with like father issues, crazy shit happening in his house, his mother getting abused, him cheating on his girl, all this stuff. Him having like a FaceTime call with Chadwick Boseman before he died, type thing. I'm just like, damn, like, I feel I feel your pain, like, and I feel like this album, I'm not gonna lie, in my opinion, is like the most personal, in-depth Kendrick album, if that makes sense. Like, him actually getting deep into the shit he's talking to, like, especially like father times, like, oh, you can't express this type of emotion, that's not manly enough, blah 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 blah. And like, and then him saying that to all the niggas, that are like fatherless, I support you, I salute you, all that stuff. Like that, it was a touching message. I'm not gonna lie. After I listened to that song a couple times, I dead ass like hit up my pops on Facebook. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Blah blah blah. Overall, that song helped me like get closure with my pops. And yeah, like Mirror is a beautiful track. It's like it's not crazy like pop how everybody wanted it to be. Like everyone expected this album to be like, oh, like Damn again, but like he's been gone for 5 years. He's obviously had a family. He has like 2 kids. Things are definitely going to change. He's not going to have like this crazy commercial type album, whatever the fuck. And him saying that, he's not your savior. I fuck with that message. In the end of the day, he's right. Like he's just a rapper. And like overall, I gave it a 10. Like I loved it a lot, and not gonna lie, it healed me. Like I needed this album. Like I felt like this was like a little piece of like music that I needed, like trauma type music, or like healing music.
Yeah,
that I needed in a long time. So I'm like, for 5 years I've been dealing with pain and all that shit. But after hearing this, I'm like, damn, I understand. So overall, I give this album a 10 out of 10. I put it up there. To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and Mr. Brown, The Big Steppers.
So you got a top 3.
Yeah, top 3. Like I love Damn. Don't get me wrong, I love Damn a lot, but this one is like, this one's personal as fuck. I can relate to this. And like, people talking about album sales. I don't really give a fuck about that. It's more about the artist's craft and what he wants to do, what kind of stories he wants to tell. And that's why I love this album more than past the other albums that came out this year. But overall, yeah, that's my take. I love this fucking album to death. Like, I'll talk about more about Auntie Diaries after when we get to that segment. But I love it. I love this album.
All right, best say less. What about you, Z? To go ahead and end this off.
I'll keep it short since everyone's opening statements went for pretty long. Let's see. All right, so first 3 albums that he made is like a trilogy which he becomes what he sees as to be a prophet, and then this album deconstructs everything. He like strips all of that away through like a couple songs, but more so a sobering moment to understand how deeply flawed he is as an individual, to where he cannot be that person to anyone, regardless of how much you love his music. And so it feels more in alignment with Damn comparatively than the rest of his work. And then in terms of concepts, it feels more in line of To Pimp a Butterfly. I think people use songs like We Cry Together to show the difficulty to make it commercial or to make it suitable for all audiences, but that's not at all what the intention of this album is, and it's very clear from the beginning. Because in the beginning, the refrain that is used in a couple songs before it is supposed to be like the idea of like, I finally come back, I'm your savior, I'm helping you guys. And then someone singing in the background, like tell him what you're actually going through. Stop all this other, cappery. You're not the savior still. And you've realized that through therapy and through working through your traumas and understanding where those traumas come from and what you do now afterwards, and what that, the whole you can't save anybody until you understand how to help yourself, all of that stuff. In regards to stuff like maybe the features are carrying, like Taylor Page or Blast, or Ghostface, it's ridiculous. He's the best writer in the entire album. It's not even a question in terms of vocal inflections, in terms of writing, in terms of cadences, in terms of multisyllabic rhyming, punchlines, storytelling. It's not even a question. In regards to melodic work like Die Hard or Count Me Out, yeah, that I don't care. There's no the complication that you can have with this album is out of preferential. It's all preferential. Any issues, like if you don't like Crown, you don't like Crown. I love Crown. I love really weird sounds, really weird songs. So Worldwide Steppers is my favorite song. Not even a question. In regards to whether or not the first half is better than the second half, you don't have the second half without the first half. So it doesn't really matter in retrospect, which is the point of the album, is that this is clearly all one individual that's experiencing all of this, and he's explaining it, which all of this toxic like mentality, and then how he proceeds to shut away all of those layers. In regards to his album comparisons, it would be foolish, but it is sitting probably at either so in I guess because not everyone has every album in the same place. So Damn, it's probably one for me. Timid and Butterfly is two, or if you're talking about like what like necessity. If you're talking about like my actual personal preference, Timid and Butterfly is my favorite rap album of all time. But Damn is better. Timid and Butterfly is two, and Good Kid, Mad City is three, or Good Kid, Mad City is two. It's hard to say. And then this will be the fourth, or it would be right under, or like 3.2 sort of thing, right? It's just as good as his other three albums. It's just unnecessary to compare the four. They're all like very distinct bodies of work. So yeah, the album's a cool 10.5 out of 10.
What the fuck?
I hate
yes sir.
I hate one song, and it's not because it's just because I don't like Summer Walker.
No way.
It's literally it. I just don't like Summer Walker. The entire album's amazing.
She says it's not real love until you eat my ass.
That's my problem. I just don't like her. I just don't like her R&B. I just don't like her R&B, and that's what that song is playing more in the realm of. It's playing more comfortably to Summer Walker than it is to Kendrick's style.
Yeah,
Kendrick just wanted to make an R&B song like that in the first half to be more celebratory of understanding that he's gone through the stretch of being this sort of savior figure, and then him realizing how deeply flawed he is, and then him understanding that but still being able to endure all of it, which is why it's like Purple Hearts.
Wait, so why didn't he get SZA?
Because they wanted to branch out. He wanted a specific sound, I imagine. Yeah, and speaking of which, in regards to Kodak, this is the only artist in the entire world that has to deal with the idea of optics, of why you're having someone feature on a song or on a concept or anything. You can have an entire album dedicated to not killing people, and then have literal murderers on that song that's featured, right? But people aren't going to depict or like break apart songs from other albums that he's done, or really any other artist. But because he's transcended most like spaces when it comes to traditional or contemporary music, that he now has to be omniscient, but also he has to be the whole like you know better and then you'll do better type of concept. But all of us are adults, and he's still an artist. He does whatever the fuck he wants. There's an artistic and thematic reason that he has him on there, and to just dismiss it because he made a statement about wanting to have sex with Nipsey Hussle's wife, or because there was some rape allegations that he went through. None of that really makes a difference. People didn't say. I don't think
it was really a dismissal. Wait, who dismissed it?
Who dismisses? Oh, I mean, plenty of people. I mean, even like Taco brought up, like people having like there being controversy around him having Kodak on the album, and he didn't necessarily agree with it, but he was just putting it out, and I was just replying to that.
I've seen more of like people say that they don't know why Kendrick shined a light on Kodak because of the rape allegations. I've seen more of that, definitely.
No. I mean, and that's stupid. None of that really matters. I mean, that they didn't say that when they saw Heart Part 5 and they saw Kobe on the cover or on the video.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel that.
Not saying that you can't like purposely distance yourself, but the point of the album is to understand just how. First off, Kodak's situation is very similar to Kendrick's, and so to condemn one and then not the other is kind of its point. Like, I'm not any more human than anyone else, and so simply because you want to look at me as though I'm more than just simply a human, it's stupid. I'm gonna show you exactly how human I am. This is my most humanized album. I'm not this giant concept. I'm still a person, and just like everybody else. And so, like, you don't. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
that was a shot at me. That was a shot at me.
Huh?
Kendrick for sure heard me say that nigga never human on any album, and then dropped the most humanized album he's ever dropped ever.
Sometimes you gotta make sure people be quiet.
What you mean? He did it until I said it. I mean, if anything, y'all should thank me. I ain't gonna hold you.
No, bro. That album was
what you mean?
Well he knew you.
No, bro.
No.
Oh, but what he said about different sounds, I agree with that. I love albums with different sounds that don't sound generic. That's why I love this album.
Yeah, you like that one Earl song.
Yeah.
No, East is awful. No, East is
nah, we're not getting into this again, bro. No, if anything, I'll give you something better.
Please let's not talk about
Rocky's testing, bro. That's what I mean by different sounds. ASAP Rocky's testing. That album has like crazy sound.
Yeah, like the whole like backdrop of it being a theatrical like step show and tap dancing show. Whenever he's trying to pander to the audience and make it seem as though he's bigger than life, is like really nice because it immediately contrasts with what's actually happening in his day-to-day life or what he's actually going through.
Yeah, I remember one time I said, why the fuck does this nigga keep tap dancing? And then he's like, stop tap dancing around the problem. Like this nigga's answering me. Nigga don't want to believe it.
Nobody want to tap you up.
He said, quit tap dancing, nigga. Like, what the fuck? Like, no way you just said that shit.
Next time you listen to a track by him, it's going, you know what I mean? You know, like with the Chance thing where he's like, hey guys, sorry I couldn't get Juice on the album.
Oh my fuck. Why, man? That's your best song. Why could...
No, he go reply to you.
Wait, I guess just a little side road. I guess. Did y'all hear the new Chance single with Vic?
Out of God, huh?
No, there's a new one with Vic Mensa.
Absolutely the fuck not. Fuck
I'm not gonna lie to you, Apollo.
Damn.
I did not hear it because I've been listening to Mr.
Yeah,
Morales.
me neither. I mean, I haven't heard it either. Jez said that it dropped. I didn't listen to it.
How much Out of God?
No, there's another one with Vic Mensa that just dropped like 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, it's mid. It's mid.
Damn.
Wait, you don't like that? I like that. I thought it was hard.
Cool,
I realized how he like, because I feel like he didn't put his all into it because he rhymed every word in that verse with the same rhyme.
No.
I mean,
like every word in that verse rhyme.
It was supposed to be like a callback to like his old styles with like Save Money and Vic Mensa and etc. So it's supposed to be nostalgic. It was fine. It's mid. So.
Wait, so I mean, from what I heard, I mean, he's just kind of like, isn't he trying to stay away from like the whole gospel thing now? Because what I heard, it sounded like it was pretty Chicago-esque, I guess.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's just literally no. It's what he used to do, like with Vic Mensa, Save Money, Tokyo, all of them.
And you don't like? Isn't that the type of music that we all liked from Chance? Or are you mad because there's no evolution?
There's no evolution. Yeah.
Oh, because you're mad that he went back. He regressed back into.
Yeah, he regressed back into something that he knew people would like instead of making the music that.
I mean, okay, so what? Okay, we all agree this Kendrick album is perfect. I just kind of want to know, like, what you think that he can even do at this point to progress his music.
Chance, or we're talking about Kendrick?
Chance first, and then Kendrick.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'll let somebody else answer that question.
Because, honestly, I don't know what the fuck Chance can do. I mean, Chance kind of, I guess, just to make a long conversation way shorter, he kind of backed himself into a corner by dropping a terrible album and then not capitalizing and then dropping singles after that shit.
Remember, he loves his wife, Apollo. He does love his wife.
Nigga, fuck that nigga wife.
That album was literally about the wedding. I don't understand why people say that. Why is that the meme? The album was.
I mean, there's a couple songs like. I mean, I think me and Z went back and re-listened to it the same day. Like, it was definitely good. The first like maybe 10 songs, and then he just grabbed a whole bunch of Lucy's and threw them all on there.
Sister. Yeah, like it was
after that. So what? Okay,
Yeah.
so what do y'all think Kendrick can do to progress his sound from here?
Go ahead, Jeezy. Go ahead, Jeezy.
So what Kendrick can do to progress his jump, like, cause he got like a whole new label, right? Like he got PG Lang, all that, and he got like gonna get some new artists. Like I'm excited for it. Real talk. Like I don't know. Like he's probably gonna have like some big collaborations, jump like they did with Dreamville or something like that. He's probably gonna drop some ignorant commercial bangers like he did with Damn or something on the like we never know. Like, but I'm very excited for what's to come in the future of what he's gonna do, especially with the label and PG Lang, especially PG Lang.
I mean, would that not be regressing as well? Him going back to he knows something that works.
No,
I mean.
You have people
because how else is he gonna blow up PG Lang? Because it's freshly new.
I mean, it's gonna
not
be
everybody knows about PG Lang.
It's
I
Kendrick.
do have something to say about PG Lang as well too. Like,
what's up?
It is stated that it is a creative. Like, there's no boundaries. You could do pretty much.
Yeah, there's that. You can like it's an infinite. How can I say this?
It's just Dreamville.
Remember when I was talking about how Doctor Strange could like one like the greatest. Like it potentially could be like one of the greatest things in MCU because it's like multiple possibilities of what it's supposed to be.
It's just
like
Dreamville.
that's kind of the same thing as PG Lang because like it's
I don't know what you said it's Dreamville.
Whatever.
How is it not just Dreamville?
No, it's
It's
just
the reason why.
Let me hear the Kendrick explanation of how it's not.
Bro, it's just a record label. What do you mean?
Is Dreamville not a label?
You can just say it's universal. Like I'm not finna say it's different. I'm saying like there's no reason to be reductive.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's reductive either. I'm just saying it's kind of like Dreamville. I'm not saying they copied them. I'm just saying that, like, if you want to, it's not a slight. It's not a slight. I'm just saying it's like Dreamville.
Yeah, that's like a cap. No,
how? It's not a slight. How is it a slight? What do you mean? Because, bro, if it was like something else, I would say it's like that. What do you mean? If PG Lang came first and J. Cole decided to create a group,
like you didn't say it was like.
I did. I used literally nothing but similes inside that sentence. I said it's like Dreamville.
No. I'm saying like you didn't say it was like universal. You didn't say
what?
It's not like a group. It's a label of like
of people that rap on there.
Possibilities so they can. But it's not a group, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. What? Oh no, I'm not finna cape for him. It's just a record label.
I'm saying I don't know what the argument. I just say it's like Dreamville. How is it not?
I just said it's not. I just told you how.
You just said it's a group of people that do anything they want on there. Okay, J. Cole has R&B singers. J. Cole has rappers.
I didn't say it was a group. I say it could be.
He has JID, which isn't really as conscious. There's a lot of different sounds on there.
Possibilities. I'm saying that it could be possible that they could do something like that, something like Dreamville. It could be possible, but PG Lang is not just like Dreamville or something like Dreamville. That is not what I said. That is what Chongo said. I just said it.
I want to know how it's different. You just said there's a lot of different sounds on there.
Because like he's already planning on making movies with the South Park creators on this PG Lang show.
Okay, well that's something new. Now we got more information, so now it's kind of is like Dreamville because you
feel like we're comparing
out the information before.
I feel like the reason why I responded in such a way is because I'm very aware that he's very clearly trying to.
What are you talking? All right, okay. Taco Jazz. How do y'all think he can progress his sound, bro?
Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, let's go back to that.
Yeah.
As far as progressing this sound, I guess when it comes to, I guess you can just say like it'll have to do with his like actual like sound because I saw he was trying. Apparently, he worked or maybe did a few songs or maybe even a whole album with Rick Rubin through an interview that he did. I think this was like maybe probably like around 3.5 years ago. I think it was right before the pandemic as well. He was basically, chopping it up with Rick Rubin. Apparently, I guess, gonna make some type of rock-esque inspired album, which I was actually looking really forward to because unlike a lot of people, new stuff and artists taking risks, especially artists as big as Kendrick, going out of like the somewhat like hip-hop comfort zone or obviously something drastically different, like a rock sound would be drastically different than anything he's probably ever done before. And I guess what I'm thinking, like, it's a bad example, but I guess what I'm thinking about is like for Eminem, like when he did Marshall Mathers LP2, I think most of it was produced by Rick Rubin, and like even though the execution wasn't like great, because I personally like the album, but even though the execution wasn't great, it was refreshing to hear someone like maybe Eminem isn't the best example, but it was just refreshing to hear that type of sound and someone like like I guess like M to hop on those beats or to like get on some type of like BC Boy sample or whatever, but not necessarily saying that Kendrick has to do all that, straight up, but something like a new sound, like a new direction. I'm not saying obviously make a specifically a rock album. Rock-esque is something I like, using different like sounds, maybe different genres as well. Because obviously they say if something isn't broken, don't fix it. But the other thing, on the other hand of that is like if something isn't broken, I'm trying to think of something on the fly, but basically, he can do so much. He can add so much more to his music now, not necessarily adding to, what he could talk about, because that's always good. You can maybe talk about something else, maybe something different. I'm sure, us as people, as we grow, obviously every single day, we go through shit. We learn new things. We talk to new people. We have new experiences, and we can all, I guess, culminate that into something of our own. Maybe it's music, maybe it's not music. And for him, it would be, using that outlet of music and writing to produce something that we've never heard before, something that could be interesting to a lot of people. And like I said, it just goes back to taking risks, because I know we had talked about other artists and I guess them staying in their lane. Someone like Pusha T, someone like a Drake, people just making music that's boring. And like Drake, like you can't. I mean, this is just.
No,
I don't want to get into.
There's no reason.
Wait, you talking about possible collabs?
Ass, bro.
Who?
Listen, CLB. All
CLB's
those albums,
ass.
it all sounds the same.
Look,
how did you even get to Drake?
No,
What?
my turn to talk. Hold on, let me talk.
How did you call it? You just called it ass out of nowhere.
No.
Dog,
your mic is breaking.
Wait. First, yeah, exactly. All right, so listen. There's no way you say you want an artist to go out of their comfort zone and mention the nigga that's made Hotline Bling, Just Hold On, We're Going Home, and Marvin's Room, my nigga. There's no reason you're even speaking about that same person. There's no way. I can't rationally.
Those are barely different, though. Those sounds are barely different, though.
He made
barely different.
He made Backpacker Rap, and then made Marvin's Room and Trust Issues. What are you talking about, dog?
I'm talking about the things that have come out in the past few years, not necessarily going all the way back to 2012 with Take Care and everything.
Okay,
like that.
he's made British. He's made UK rap. He's made Afro pop. He's made house music. He's made straight R&B.
But listen, this is not the time. This is not the time to ride for Drake right now. I'm trying to make a point right now. But listen, so that's basically more of what I want from Kendrick. Any artist like that, I guess. Instead of saying in similar or branching out to similar genres as well, maybe something different. And maybe Kendrick will be the type to do that. Maybe he won't be the type to do that. Maybe obviously he has PG Lane now. He doesn't have to listen to anything like Top Dog or TDE says. So he can have as much creative freedom as he wants and everything like that. But maybe different feet. I guess aside from that, the obvious stuff like different features, or maybe working with smaller artists, some more unknown artists, because a lot of these unknown artists, people have been put on by other bigger artists on their records, have been really good. Like the addition of Blast, and I forget what her name is on Die Hard. Like those were great features. I really like those features. Things like that. People who you've never heard of, obviously being on a record like that. So more of that, more of different sounds.
Whenever Drake featured Kendrick.
What's up?
Whenever Drake put Kendrick on his Take Care album. I know what you meant.
Anyways, so more of that type of stuff, bro.
This nigga is a menace, bro.
What you mean? What? Am I wrong? What do you mean?
I understand. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
All right, exactly.
Anyways, but that's basically all I wanted to say, man. Like, it's just, I know Kendrick can do it. I know he still has the capability to at least drop a few more albums before he retires, I guess I would say.
I don't know. Do you need another Kendrick album?
I would be happy with this being his last one, I think.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I just want to say no. When it comes to that, I was also thinking about that maybe like a few days ago as well. Like, obviously, it's his last TDE album. You know, some people might think it's his last album overall, but no. But
Yeah,
and
no.
I can see with PG Lang, he wants to branch out and things that are not just music, obviously. But will I be happy? Will I be satisfied if this is his last project? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say he at least needs maybe. I guess at this point, maybe one or two more albums. And if he drops two more albums that are somewhat of the same caliber as this one, I'll be 1,000% satisfied. And at this point, you know, I'm sure we'll get into the conversation as well. I think he's, you know, even with this being like a 9, like I said, I think this solidifies him without a question of being a GOAT. And I know a lot of people. I know some, you know, maybe like Apollo or Jazz, like, you know, on some other previous pods we've been like discussing or debating that where Kendrick stands in that conversation. But genuinely, being able to release this quality project, you know, the top to bottom, still, you know, with an interesting concept, the whole mirror and everything like that.
So okay, whenever you say GOAT, do you mean like the greatest rapper of all time, or do you mean just like how other people use GOAT, where like they're just among the conversation of the greatest rapper?
Yeah, the conversation mainly. I wouldn't say. I mean, I don't think I'm in a place to say that Kendrick is like, you know, the GOAT in general, like just like the absolute GOAT. No, I'm just talking about the conversation in general, because he is in the conversation, but a lot of people would still disagree with the fact. People would put maybe like J. Cole, like over Kendrick in that type of conversation or whatever. But no, just, you know, just speaking of that, I think he definitely has at least one more album in him. If it's, I'll be way more than satisfied. If it's 2, I don't think he's gonna drop more than 2 more albums, and he's gonna drop his one album with PG Lang because I guess he kind of has to. But besides that, if the next album is anything like this, maybe a little bit better, I will be 100% fine with that. He won't have to drop any other music ever again. T-Pab and Good Kid, Mad City, as they are themselves, excluding his other projects, excluding this, excluding Untitled Unmastered, excluding the Black Panther soundtrack, anything like that. Those 2 albums in themselves have done so much for music in general, not just hip hop, not just music in general, that I'll, you know, I guess solidifies him in my mind. But he definitely has 1 or 2 more albums in him. 1, I'll be satisfied. 2, it'll be like the cherry on top, I guess I'd say.
I'd honestly want Kendrick to go on the same feature run that Cole did, and then I'd be happy. Honestly, I don't think I really want another album from. Honestly, because I don't like what really has Kendrick really featured on like inside rap? I guess recently. I know he was on like Fucking Problem and stuff like that, but like I don't think we've ever seen this man go on a Kendrick run and really show how well he can rap against every single one of these niggas like Cole has. Well, not to even compare the 2.
I don't even know. I just don't know if it's ever necessary. Like for most artists, like even Cole, like most people that are listening for Cole, like when he did the Come Through and Chill verse, where he's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna be on this track, but I'm gonna make it, you know, I'm gonna make it my own. Shit. Where like, yeah, like I mean, I don't know. I don't need that from artists. Like I don't need them to conform to some like unnecessary rule that you wouldn't give to other people. Like you wouldn't say, yeah, bro, I need to see if Lil Baby can really rap with every XYZ.
Well,
like,
I just more of I'd want to see it. So Kendrick's already solidified to me, but I'd be cool to see Kendrick actually rap with niggas for once.
No, I get that. Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. I guess I'm just saying like I don't know. I've never desired that from like an artist of like that I really enjoy. I always like really like accept whatever they're willing to give me, as long as it's not a big day. You know what I mean? So
what you mean?
There's only. I mean, I can. You know what I mean? I don't.
All right. I feel like,
I don't like it.
The conversation for like this is discography has kind of already been discussed in the midst of all this conversation. I guess just kind of finish it off. I'd probably have T-Pab number 1, Good Kid, and then maybe Damn number 3. I haven't listened to all of Section 80. I was trying to tackle Section and Good Kid before I came onto the podcast. So I wasn't able to listen to all of it. But yeah, I definitely have those top 3, and then Mr. Morale probably number 4. And if anything, Section would probably be number 5, and then UU would probably be at the bottom, below Black Panther, honestly. Because I've honestly spent more time with Black Panther soundtrack more than I ever have with Untitled Unmastered.
But head is the answer. Head is the future.
But anyway, I guess with the last, I guess with the last conversation, we can see how we feel about his use of the slur. That is of course very mean to the LGBTQ community. I saw a lot of people, of course, mad at this one single. A lot of non-Kendrick fans, a lot of Kendrick fans, a lot of people that have never even listened to rap were mad at his use of this word. Of course, they went to go listen to the song and said that he shouldn't have used it. So, Jeezy, how do you feel about him using the F slur?
No, wait.
What you mean?
I don't know what I'm talking about yet, bro. I don't know.
Huh? What do you mean?
I don't know. I gotta think about what I gotta say, bro.
All right, Chongo, you able to go first?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You said you had some thoughts on it, so I'll throw it to you.
Okay, so first things first. I feel like he didn't use that. I feel like when he said the F word, obviously that word, I don't think he meant it in a mean-spirited type of way.
Wait, which one?
You know what I mean? Yo, Apollo, man. Nah, but I'm just saying in general, I feel like he didn't mean it in a mean-spirited type way. Like, I feel like it was like a perspective, like he was young, like, oh, all the other kids are saying, that word, all that stuff. And obviously, I feel like, yeah, he should have not said that. But at the same time, though, I'm like, I get what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's him finally, like, maturing and understanding, like, like this is what his aunt's doing. This is what what they want. This is what they chose to be. Type, deal. Like, obviously, I could relate to that situation. Like, I got a lot of, aunts, uncles, cousins, blah 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 blah. That all that turned into men into women, women into men, all that stuff. And I feel like the way he was explaining the song was more of a like him pretty much coming out and be like, "Hey, look, I support you guys," type thing, and I get why.
Oh my gosh!
Hey,
I wasn't responding. I died in Elden Ring.
Getting his ass beat down.
I was just dying, bro.
Got dumbass game down, man.
Look, Elden Ring is amazing. From Software, I can sponsor. Send you.
This nigga. Nah,
Yeah,
but I just feel like
for you, Apollo.
I just feel like him saying that word. Obviously, it was gonna catch attention, but I just feel
absolutely.
I just feel like he didn't want to. He didn't use it in a mean-spirited type of way. It's, it's pretty much just him like maturing with a theme. Growing up and just being like, I respect that. I accept you for who you are, type thing. And like, I'll love you no matter what, and no matter what all these other people be saying, that word. I'm always gonna care for you, and love for you, like treat you with the same respect and all that stuff. So I just feel like it's that song alone is just him just telling us that, I understand why, I'm finally understanding, it took me this long to realize it. I support you guys 100%, shout out to that LGBTQ community, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out my niggas.
Yeah, shout out to my niggas. Like, I like I said, I could relate to that, So I got some brothers, one of my brothers is, obviously gay, so I'm like, I get what I get what Kendrick is trying to say, I just feel like, that's his response to the whole thing,
Yeah.
Obviously not in a mean way, just him just telling y'all, I accept y'all, Even though that word is crazy, it threw me off, but after a couple listens, I'm like, I understand. Even though you should have said that,
threw everybody
I
off.
understand.
I'm really glad Yo Flame came in the chat. I was like, Apollo, skip that song, man, because that should have been
no.
game over.
Yeah, no. I should have told you before, but
no, I skipped it. Yeah, he came in there luckily.
Yeah, but after listening to it multiple times, I like the song even more now. Like I saw at the first, it was like, oh, okay, new thing.
It's like an understanding or something.
You talking about, your auntie, your uncle. I'm like, all right, I respect that. Then after listening to it more and more, I'm like, wow, I fuck with this. I love what you're doing. You're talking about some shit that some rappers won't really be able to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, I know obviously some can talk about that, but the way he describes it is like, wow, I respect it.
Yeah, I feel that.
I agree with that.
I guess in terms of Chungo, you done? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm done.
All right, bad bro. In terms of, I guess, the usage of this word, I guess the only thing I can kind of think of is like, when did the culture turn to where even just saying the word was kind of offensive? Because I realized, growing up in school, when we were reading like either types of like works of art, literature and stuff like that, like To Kill a Mockingbird and stuff like that, it would say the hard R inside there. And the teacher would basically come to the front of the class and be like, look, guys, this word is okay to say as long as it's in literature and you're not referring to anybody in a mean way. Like, you can say the word, but just don't just don't use it directly towards anybody, which of course I disagree with that now 1000%.
Yeah, no.
But as the culture, like, I noticed that even like if you were to, how can I word this? If you were to, somebody that's labeled as gay, right? If you were to even call them gay, that still would be looked at as offensive, because you're still, I guess, using it in a derogatory way. I guess they could feel that way. So I guess in terms of works of art, when did it stop being okay to say words if you weren't meaning it in a bad way? Because like, I was taught that the N word was okay as long as you're just reading it on the paper. Of course, I disagree with it now. I'm speaking like on the outside, playing devil's advocate of when things changed to where you couldn't even say something even if it wasn't meant in a derogatory way.
I mean, to me, nothing has changed, and that still same sentiment of what you said, what the teacher said, still applies today. But it's only because people just don't like black people at the end of the day. I feel like we get the short end of the stick and comes in terms of anything. Like, even if you go online right now, like, this outrage you'll never see for black people. Like, let's say a white person or something, some celebrity or something like that says the hard ER, that says the N-word in general. I mean,
let's keep it a buck. If one of the bigger white rappers said the N-word in the same way that Kendrick did, there would be outrage, yes. But would there as big as an outrage? I do not think so.
That's cap.
I don't think the outrage should be that big. Because like, I think the more
unnecessary.
Okay, so look, there might be as big as an outrage, but there'd be way more people taking up for him using that word than there were for Kendrick saying it.
No,
like, for Kendrick, it was all all one sided.
For example,
Not even
saying
remote,
that,
dog.
you know what I mean?
Look, listen. There, it still is to this day a death sentence to be founded to say the N-word as a white person you could be 90 years old. You could have experienced slavery as a white person, like really, like was like down in the, like I was really slaving people, I was enslaving them, and I used to say it back then, and now I'm a changed man, and it's 2022, and they had Twitter somehow back then, and it shows that you said that on old age Twitter. It's over for you.
It's still not the same death sentence for the F slur though. It's absolutely the same. Niggas have gotten fired over saying that.
No, you guys were saying that you wouldn't get in trouble. You wouldn't.
I said the amount of people that were outraging would still be the same, but the amount of people taking up for the white rapper saying that would be way more than they took up for Kendrick. Because I didn't see anybody taking up for Kendrick.
Well, this is. Oh well, no. There's plenty of people taking up for it. It's just most people. Here's the thing: most people that would potentially take up for it don't care to argue about it. They've already accepted. They understand why he's doing what he's doing in the song. Yeah. So most people like all of the people that are yelling are a minority. That's the idea. So like, you didn't say you didn't go on Twitter and be like, "Oh, bro, this is bad." You didn't do that because like you don't have to. But people that feel outraged are going to more than likely respond. So they did. And most people were just like, bruh, relax. It's not that serious. This song isn't for you.
And
this song is about you, but not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, too, like, when I was on Twitter when that song came out, I saw some people that were, trans, some came out as gay, all that stuff. They were talking about, and they weren't really, some of them weren't really mad. They were like, they respect Kendrick's, that song entirely for what he's trying to say. Some people take it, to, like, oh my God, he said that. But some others were like, oh wow, he's actually talking about this issue that no one really talks about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's substantially more important in every single capacity that you could imagine. Any metric that you can find, it's way more important that the people that are actually affected by the things that he's talking about are able, like, because it's not okay. So this song isn't just, it's not about being trans. This song has very little to do with being trans. Actually, the song is in retrospect about the black community essentially condemning and dehumanizing people that are not traditionally what do you consider the traditional genders. Or more so, just how ignorant that community is to all of it. Just like it's not even that the person, it's not even that his auntie is a man now, it's that his auntie technically would be declared as gay, so he would just rather say that she eats vagina than to say that she's gay, because that's like you like it's immoral to be gay. Still, we've moved past that to the point in the black community, we've moved past that substantially now. We're talking about men being women and women being men. It's not about whether or not gay people like being gay or not, or whether, like, that's not even a question anymore. But in the black community, it is. And so him talking about it, like, you know how many Tom girls, and I've talked to a bunch of people about this, like, you know how many girls that are Tom girls that in reality wouldn't be Tom girls if they were white? They would just be gay or lesbians. They wouldn't be Tom girls because they got to actually understand their identity and not just disguise it as though they're just like, oh, well, I don't know what I am, but it's whatever, it's fine.
So you think the goalpost for the role is used differently whenever it comes to different races? Like for a white woman, it would be considered a Tom girl, and for the other one, or for black people, it would be considered trans? Or you mean it the other way around?
I think that it's more so that the communities, not necessarily the race. I think that because, like, in the Jewish community, like, the idea of being anything other than like a lawyer or something that's substantially stable is like a death sentence. Like, I don't have a son now because he wants to do theater. I have several Jewish friends that talk about this like situation where they're like, dog, my parents never come to a show or anything like that because they wanted me to be this or that. They don't even speak to me, and I live in the same house as them. Like, that sort of thing. And then when I move out, they don't even call me because I'm not what they wanted me to be. Like, you would, but you don't have the same sort of circumstance in like a black community, or even like even in like a Caucasian community. Like, there's a lot more like follow your dreams, do what you feel like doing, as opposed to the opposite. But it's not because it's just their community. I think
in the black communities, we're kind of like way behind where we need to be.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what you're saying. Yeah, so like if somebody were to come out gay inside the black community, it'd be normal for the black community to shun them more than it would be inside a Caucasian community.
Transgender, like, transgender is like that's 8,000 levels ahead of like wait. Transgender? No. She's saying that she's gay, and she's clearly not gay because my daughter would never be gay. What the hell are y'all talking about? No.
I mean, because like I've had conversations with my aunt that lives in Texas. And she is very much lesbian, but the conversation came up if she would ever like make the change, and she said she absolutely would not, because like everybody would just look at her like she's not her anymore, and it's just it's so condemned to the point where it's normal to not be yourself inside the black community. Yeah, and I think that was the whole point of this song. Was Kendrick is like, look, like we used to say
we have a lot
everything. Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of stuff we have to come on. There's a lot of stuff we used to say that we don't mean anymore.
And that like lackadaisical, just saying it plainly. That's how ignorant we are to like the insensitive nature that we have with like within our community. And so like him saying it like that is actually like my grandmother would say stuff like that. I was like, oh, well, he's just an F, it's like, that's just what it is,
normally. Like, I grew up around that word being used so normalized that I thought it was normal to say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't until...
Like it honestly wasn't until, this is always the case, but it wasn't until other communities that have more leisure to be able to focus on those issues, ergo, like Caucasian communities where it was like, hey yo, yeah, my son keeps saying the N-word when he gets on Call of Duty, and your son keeps doing this. I don't think that's okay.
Yeah.
And they're it's more of a critical thing to have of those communities than in a black community be like, hey yo, it's same with like abuse, like with like child abuse. Like if like you're trying to like punish your child. If you're in the black community, it's way more intense.
Oh, yes, whoopings, switches, sticks.
And it wasn't until a lot of, but you'll have the whole stereotype where the mom is like, who the fuck are you talking to? Talking about like, this is my son. I don't care who the fuck you are. Like, who are you gonna tell me what I'm gonna do with my son? But in reality,
at the end of the day, we gotta stop that shit too. We gotta break that.
Of course,
curse,
yeah.
Because it's like, bro, like at the end of the day, that's your kid. Like that's a child, bro. Like I would never do that to my kids ever.
And the thing is, like with even with use of that word, like at least in the black community, I've never heard it used. Like I guess back in the day, it would never be in a derogatory way. I mean, it'd be gay guys that were friends with straight guys. It'd be like, oh yeah, he's just a F slur or whatever, and the gay guy would just be like, yeah, I mean, I'm just that. Like it would never be like, I guess it was so normalized to the point where like it was just inside of our language that we would never know. I mean, of course, it was used in bad ways in certain cases, but at least I think Kendrick's trying to say is that it was just so normal for people to use it, and he had to take it out of his vocabulary that he just didn't even know it was a bad word to use.
He even says in the song like, "Oh, I didn't mean to use those F slurs."
He even said that. Like he said like multiple times, like. Well, like not specifically that topic, but like anything else in like a different type of meaning. Like how could I say this? Like in different terms. Like he will say he like grew up learning this stuff, but now as he got older, he knows it's like a different way to handle that type of reality. So like he's been stating that for a minute. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%. That's one thing, the black community has to do is just, they gotta like grow up from that, bro. Like, come on, like obviously,
real talk.
I don't know. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. At least some of the communities actually growing up and realizing that holy shit, this is a bad word.
I mean, if you put anybody from like Twitter cancel culture inside like the deep hood, they would lose their mind.
Everybody.
No.
God, you can't say that. No, they're going like they're losing their mind. Like it's,
what do you mean?
Like,
the deep hood is just so detached from just internet itself. Like they probably don't even know cancel culture exists. Like those niggas.
No. That's the thing too. They grew up around that era of like like the 80s, 70s type era. Like they don't really give a fuck about what anyone types.
Right, and then it gets passed down. It gets passed down.
In a State of the Union, I believe it was Nixon. He said, "F slur and fairies are like trying to destroy our nation."
Yeah.
No,
they were just saying normally.
Like what are y'all talking about? That was on a State of the Union, dog. We didn't care about none of that, bro.
Wow.
This is a grown ass man.
Grown ass president.
I just wish that
but like back then they couldn't really do nothing about it because people like overpowered them, you know what I'm saying? But like now that people are like that type of community is getting bigger, like if you mess around and do something, they could really end your life. Your career could be done for.
They'll bring them your address, dox your shit, all that shit.
Like you can mess around and die. Like
I mean, okay, so the only pushback that I give is basically if somebody were to say that today, like, oh yeah, get them out of here. Like if somebody is still like using derogatory language and they want to be like, I guess somebody that doesn't, I guess actually cares, get them out of here.
Yeah, whoever cares.
If you pull up, I don't even care if a white person was saying nigga 15 plus years ago. Like if you pull up somebody from like 2007, 8, 9, probably all the way up until like 15, I wouldn't, bro. That was so fucking long ago and times were different. Like I just wish it was basically the same way where like if you pull up something, if somebody's saying something back in like 2014 when they were 13 years old, then it's like, bro,
come on. Facts.
Like, no, it was way different time.
Like you gotta be careful out here sometimes.
Like the early 2000s, like how comedy was back in the day. We all know how crazy it was. Like don't get me wrong, I was one of those few people that did laugh at those jokes. It was a different time. But it's like now I'm grown. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm like, oh wow, I really laughed at this. even though I'm like, I do like that movie. It's like, fuck.
But I guess that's kind of their argument, is that he did say it recently and it wasn't a long time ago. So I guess just like his use of saying the word, was it okay? I guess is basically the question.
Probably like around like when he's.
It's absolutely fine. I think that when you're making it's in the same argument as like a period piece. Like Tarantino saying it in a film that he wrote himself in 2022, but it's set in a period. It's like, I'm aware and I'm doing this for a reason. It's not just, it's like, oh, well, in Django, they said the N-word 685 times.
Because that's how many times they said it in reality, like back in the day. Yeah. That's how it was.
Okay, so you're saying basically that you didn't see any outrage over Leo DeCap saying the N-word a trillion times.
Oh, no, it was. There was pushback. That's what I'm saying is, it's like, people would say like, oh, well, yeah, of course, yeah. It wasn't about him. It was about, because he's an actor. It was about the writer, which was Tarantino, and it was that Tarantino often in movies get to say the N-word.
I mean, even DiCaprio didn't feel comfortable saying it for real.
Like even in Pulp Fiction, like
no, he wanted to say it.
When
he was cool with saying it, honestly.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
I mean, he claimed it.
No, that nigga didn't give a fuck.
Now,
wait, so I guess I want to hear how Taco and Jez feel about it.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, let's hear your takes on this.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, I mean, after hearing everything, I totally understand and understand everyone's perspectives on. I guess the thing is, you guys were also not talking just about the slur being included. You were talking about the broader conversation.
Yeah, I was talking about the bigger piece. I guess the more of him saying it, he could have said something else, but I understand the broader topic 1000%.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Let's talk this.
Yeah. I would say, yeah. Let me.
No, absolutely. And I guess I would say, and I mean, as much as I would wanted to add into the broader conversation of things, I think you guys pretty much got it, most of it down. But I guess I would say, I mean, being a LGBTQ person myself, as far as his inclusion of the F slur throughout the whole song, it definitely, I mean, I guess to me, I do understand why he did it, and like the message he was trying to convey by adding that into the song. It just kind of was unnecessary, and I feel like they could have definitely done it as effective without using the F slur maybe a good 15-20 times throughout the song. With that being said, like I said, I do understand why he did it. I don't agree. I personally don't agree with it, but I'm also not gonna fucking cancel Kendrick or whatever, because at the end of the day, no matter what anyone says, no matter what I say or anyone says, bro's still gonna be doing his thing. It's not really gonna affect him at all. But I think he could have definitely gone through the whole song without using the F slur, and also without and I know he made a point of this to, I guess, bring it up when it came to like dead naming his, I think it was his cousin as well, like relative and everything like that. He definitely, he made it, even though he did, I guess, dead name them and said the slur, he kind of was making it a point to say like, oh, but this is wrong, but even though this is wrong, I'm still gonna put it in my song or whatever. Which
wait, so can I ask you something, Taco?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think Django would have been as effective without the use of the N-word?
Honestly, I watched half of Django. I genuinely couldn't.
Well, I guess anybody that's seen Django, do you think it would have been as effective without use of him saying the N-word or anybody saying the N-word?
In creativity, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you think this song, Auntie's Diaries, would have been as effective without use of the F slur? Like, will people still be talking about that song if he didn't say it?
Because he basically said plenty terms that everybody knew what he was talking about, right? Because like if you read between the lines, people know what he was talking about. But yeah, it probably would have the exact same effect if he did not just say that. Like it's just
I do think he still would have been as effective just for the fact that he's, I guess, tackling that issue or addressing that issue itself, that he has trans relatives and like talking about as you were saying, I guess like overall like those types of issues in the community being brought up and not necessarily being like what kind of like being like stigmatized in a sense, obviously leading up to this point. So I do still think that it would have maybe been as effective. Obviously people would still be talking about it as they are right now. Instead of talking about, I guess, mainly like the F slur like people are doing now, people would just be talking about the content of the song itself and the fact that Kendrick was talking about like gender, talking about like his trans relatives in a song,
Right.
because obviously
Right.
that type of thing is situational. Some people maybe like other other people in hip hop may not have trans relatives, so they might not be able to give that type of perspective itself. But I to my knowledge, I don't think there's been any other like artist that is like kind of addressed or kind of had gender as like the main topic of conversation in the song. And
girls want where I'm from. Come on now.
No.
no,
Jazz,
absolutely not.
Jazz, how do you feel about it?
I think it's more. I think like of course, like he probably expected the outrage and like the kind of time we in, that anything you say, like no matter what what group you're from, no matter what community you're from, you're gonna catch flack. Like even if he didn't say the word and he was still talking about this topic, it's not. I wouldn't be surprised if people were still coming out being like, "Oh, why is he even speaking on the thing in the first place? He's not even from this community. He's not even part of the LGBT." There would still be people like going after him and still like opposing him. Is what I'm trying to say. I think my main thing is that he's trying to reach a certain type of audience, and that audience like is the deep hood people who, on the everyday basis to this day, they still say words like that, and they don't think nothing of it. He's trying to reach those people. And him just using the word like that, and it was excessive, and he did say the lie. He just, it's surprising.
6 times. I don't know why people say like he says it like 1 billion times.
He did say it definitely was 9 times. He said 3 times per verse.
Oh, he did.
I forgot he says it in the last time when he says like if we can say it together. Yeah, you're right. It's 9 times. 3, 6, 9.
I ain't letting a white person say N-word 3 times. I ain't gonna hold you. Or 9 times.
No. Okay, look. You gotta understand that the song.
I understand the song is about like it definitely wraps up then like, oh, but you can say that if a white person can't say N-word.
Well, it's more like it's not for every. Like that song isn't. The intention is not to garner towards the people that already know better. I mean, I don't know. I think it's the whole like the fact that they don't see it as like outlandish to say that is, I don't know. I guess the idea of not having a song where you're essentially just preaching to people that already know what they're supposed to think about these things it would never be as effective as talking to the exact people that actually need it, that will actually use this to be like to better themselves or the people around them, or for the people that are in those communities that are those people that aren't often opening their identity to anybody. They don't feel comfortable or able to. And so like the idea of, oh well, if you just curtail your way in which you want to present your concept to where you're essentially just doing a TPAB, but instead it's about being transgender. The people that need that aren't probably going to listen to it because they already agree with you. So I don't agree with the idea that if Mark Twain were to make Huckleberry Finn, but it doesn't have any N-words in it, and it's purposely not insensitive, then people that would normally be just reading this as though it's a comedy because it's funny and it's not like a satire, then they probably would never realize that it's very clearly wrong. So people listening to it will just be like, this is a cool song, it's whatever, I'm gonna still say whatever I want to because I don't think that it's wrong. People say that it's wrong, but Twitter isn't real. And then you hear somebody that speaks the way that you think, and then you hear it for yourself, and you're like, yo, there are people that are affected by this that I'm just dismissing on a daily basis. I don't know. It's always been what is the author's intentions versus how it's impacting, who is it for, regardless of who's listening to it. If it's not for you, then it's probably not good for the person to critique it in the light of it not being for them. But
so who do y'all think this song is for?
Who?
I don't know. He kind of just said everything I was trying to say. Basically, it's just that. It's that it's not like the people who already know, like, basically right from wrong, quote unquote, and like know what not to say and know how this affects people every day. They already know this. Like I saw this a lot on TikTok. People are like, oh no, whether they're part of the LGBT or not part of the LGBT, they're like, like when he knows what he's saying is wrong, it's very offensive, it's going to get people mad and etc. It is very hurtful and stuff like that. Yeah, but the thing is, the people who live deep in the hood and the people who maybe just don't look at Twitter, they don't know the internet even exists. They barely even go on social media and things like that. People who Kendrick probably sees these people every single day where he's from. He might talk to them every single day. Understand they're still doing the same stuff. So let me go in the studio and talk to them directly to them. Like, hey, you, they're using this word every single day. You're affecting people on a real personal basis. He's not going to appeal to people who already know right from wrong. This court, like, why? It's like a teacher in a classroom. There's people who already know the answer, know how to get to the answer. Why would they focus on those students? I'm gonna focus on students who are still trying to get to that part. The people who are still don't really know how to, like, how this is hurtful, why it's hurtful, etc., etc. So it makes sense for him to make a song like this. Is it going to be controversial? Is it going to hurt? Yeah, etc. Yeah, of course. But the thing is, we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get no progress, and especially in the Black community, how stubborn we are. Nah, like it needs to be blunt and straight to the point. To be fair, I understand. Like, I'm not part of the LGBT, so of course this doesn't directly hurt me. I can't see her to say that. But at the same time, I see the overall message, and I think that the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion. Like, some people need to hear this song. They need to hear this song. Like I think y'all were like giving examples. Like, my mom's the same way, very, very traditional, against and like damn near almost everything. A lot of other people in my life, just like, because I'm from Nigeria, so like African Americans, like the Africans especially.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Nah, bro, they don't fuck with none of this shit. They think that, like, interracial marriage, like just dating, and like Nigerian or Africa is wrong. So
aren't you Nigerian too? I think.
No, not Nigerian. My grandmother's from Kenya.
Ah, okay, that's what it was. All right.
But I mean, even like Nigeria, like all of, like, not all of Africa, but most African countries is basically kind of like that. Like, they're very just not accepting of LGBT, damn near interracial. Kind of the same thing how he was saying about Jewish, about how, like, you have to, like, get a good education. I'm not specifically lawyer, but just in terms of you have to become a doctor, something that's like useful, that's like, that will always be needed, quote unquote. Yeah. They don't see arts and following your dreams and things like that as even a viable thing. Like, you can't fault them, because that's how they grew up and that's how it was taught to them. Which is why I'm saying that these people are very stubborn. They grew up like this. It was pounded into them. Pause.
Hey,
so they need to just hear it bluntly. They need someone to sit them down and be like, yes, I used to be just like you. I used to be ignorant. I used to be blocked out. But I've came this far. I realized this stuff that I used to, but you still do is wrong. And let's change. If he's not talking to the same people, and he's talking to people who've already or just like him, who've already made that transition, who've already learned from, like, their their past and have become better to them, then the message is not reaching nobody. So I think it's a very good song.
I'm gonna offer a small bit of pushback, just a little bit. I don't think Kendrick's really speaking to anybody in particular this song, especially like the deep hood niggas. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's just very bad to say slurs and stuff like that, but these niggas are shooting niggas. Like, they don't give a damn about what's bad or not. Like, I don't think, there's a way bigger problem that needs to be addressed than just, like, the usage of slurs inside the Black community. Because, like, these niggas are pulling up to other people's neighborhoods and blasting them in front of their mom. I don't think they're going to give two damns about offending somebody on anything.
Yeah, not at all, no.
So I think he was just kind of broadening the conversation into, like, yeah, of course, like, we need to fix this problem soon, but there's a bigger problem that needs to be fixed inside our community than just the usage of slurs inside the Black community, basically.
I think that's a fair argument. The thing is that that's essentially like telling. Okay, that's what I understand what you're saying, but the easiest way to like take that apart is to understand that you're essentially telling people, when you say that sort of thing, is that we'll figure out how to adjust to your sexuality and your existence. In the meantime, we're having to deal with poverty. So have fun still being disrespected until we have better employment. or etc., which is obviously not like a good way.
Yeah, which is not how I meant to word it, of course.
No, of course, but that's essentially what it's inviting, is that the idea that other people's problems aren't nearly as important as ours.
Yeah.
Regardless of who this will never hurt people. This will only help people percentage-wise. Like, this will never... Nobody's going to be like, well, Kendrick said it, so now I got to beat up gay people. No, they're going to be like, oh, well, it made me rethink this. And then they just go and murder somebody, right?
Yeah, no, that's like what he said before. Like, he's not your savior. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like anything he does is not supposed to.
Oh no, he is kind of my favorite though. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
but, yeah, I know. Cole, your favorite, or is it Sean?
That's what he was. That's the point that he was trying to make, though. That's what he was trying to make.
Who is y'all savior if it's not Kendrick? Honestly, like, think about it. Like, you don't have an answer. Unfortunate.
What was my other favorite character? What's that character? Other favorite rapper?
Favorite character?
Character. Let's do it.
But
on real life.
Obviously, it's Kendrick, but anything, he's got Rocky, Earl Sweatshirt.
Oh, wait, you said Earl Sweatshirt. He's not your
Why
savior.
do you hate that nigga so much?
Bro, there's nothing wrong with Earl, bro. He dropped a really good album this year, bro. Jesus
What album? What album?
Sick.
East.
Nigga,
that was good?
Nigga,
that was good?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking.
No, it was actually really good. Deadass.
Oh, okay.
I didn't listen to it.
I did.
I recommend it, This is the
this dude
I probably won't start with that album. I don't think, if I was gonna listen to Earl.
I don't like his MF Doom phase, so it's just not.
I'll tell you this right now. This album, he's not in his MF Doom phase.
That's cap. I've listened to it already.
What, sick?
Yes, absolutely. It's his most commercial, so he tries to do more with it. He still
at least he's not talking about pterodactyl dinosaurs and this shit.
I mean, his poetry has always been top notch. He just is like, I'm unenthused when listening to his music. I don't. He speaks in such. No, he doesn't.
No.
Wait, so who's better, Earl or Denzel?
No, Z is right. Z is right. I agree with that too.
Curry?
Yeah, he's a great Curry, of course. Yes.
I've never once been like, yo, Earl is killing this song, bro. I can't wait till I hear the next one now. Except Titanic. Titanic.
I want to say Curry.
Or actually, no. It's an interlude, actually. Lobby interlude. Also, I would say Curry. Yeah, Curry's.
Okay.
He's
a better musician. Earl is a better writer.
Curry's album early this year is I think before we forget about, let's talk about the whole, like, just very quickly about the whole album sales thing and just how dumb that whole conversation is, in my opinion.
I'm about to say, do we even need to talk about
that? No, it's really dumb. But to
sales don't mean shit. That's all I gotta say. Literally, sales don't mean shit. It could be anybody. You see Future selling 700K, whatever.
A small pushback. If Kendrick sold 600, I think the conversation would be different. Just small pushback, absolutely.
No, they would expect that. They would say something like,
"Oh, see, this why I told y'all this nigga was the best."
No, they would say like,
"Bro, let's keep it a buck, bro. If this nigga Kendrick came out and sold 700 like everybody thought, the conversation would definitely be, "Oh, see, I told y'all he was gonna do his thing. I told y'all."
Yeah.
Instead, now it's kind of in the conversation of let's not talk about it.
That's what everybody expected. That's what everybody expected.
Of course, I'm just saying, like, y'all. There's definitely gonna be some disagreements. Okay.
Yeah, people are dancing around it. Yeah,
you're right.
You're not wrong. It's just I don't give a damn about that.
Yeah. I'm just saying that the conversation.
Yeah, because I'm listening to it for free. I listen to it for free. I don't know.
I think people would still be on like some same type of bullshit because like these niggas.
No, if he sold a lot, they would not be saying sales don't matter at all. It would be a way different conversation.
People are still comparing him to like Drake, and when Drake dropped I forget what album was that, sold $1 million in a week. What album was that?
Yeah, it was Damn Interviews, I think, right? Damn and the Scorpion. Sorry, it was Damn and the Scorpion.
Scorpion sold a wait, what? Scorpion sold $1 million?
It was streams. It wasn't.
Oh, like no way.
Scorpion is slept on, bro.
No, of course, absolutely.
It's
one of my favorite Drake albums.
Yeah, I sleep every time it comes on. This shit's ass.
Yeah, bro. I know Taco, bro. I know, bro.
Taco, you don't really like you're not really a Kendrick stan, honestly. Like,
what? What did that have to do with Drake?
I know, but even the people that he likes don't really.
What? That had nothing to do with Drake.
I don't really give less of a fuck about being a stan, bro. I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're not consistent.
What did that have to do with Drake, though?
Leave, bro. Oh God, you guys did to do it.
So y'all niggas don't give a fuck about sales. Y'all don't give a fuck about sales.
Riding the whole time. That's all it's all about.
I'm not dick riding for sure. Kendrick has misses on that album, but
I'm definitely riding.
You're not finna say, oh well, I just wish he would do something different, and then Pusha T.
Wait,
and then you'd be like, I love Pusha T. He just does the same thing every album. Like you're not finna, nah, son. Some people you prefer that they stay consistent. You don't want to hear. You would never want to hear Pusha T on an Afro pop beat. You would never want to hear that shit.
Who says I wouldn't?
You would never want to hear him sing R&B.
Oh,
on my mama, you would.
Y'all niggas give a fuck about. Y'all niggas care about the album sales.
Oh my God.
Your mother, you would never want.
Bro, y'all care about the album sales or not, bro? What is wrong with y'all niggas?
Yo, all right. Imagine Pusha T on Just Hold On, We're Going Home. Don't ever talk to me.
Yeah. That nigga would just rap about cocaine.
Bro, what are you doing, bro?
Just hold on, we're going home. After I sell this crack.
Talk
to me, bro.
No, that's true.
I just imagine, smoking crack. So far, we're going home. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Me and my homies ain't never going home because we sold crack. Like, that's.
Oh my gosh, bro.
No, he's a
W. Do y'all niggas think anybody has the potential to surpass Kendrick's album this year?
I don't know.
Ooh, you gotta give me a list of people.
Just think of all the greats.
From ASAP Rocky, but
like if Kanye drops Donda 2, like actually drops it, will it be better than this?
I think
because
I think so.
Because it's already on. Because people got leaks. Plenty leaks.
I mean, it's released technically.
He performed it. He performed it, and it's released.
And I've heard the finalized.
Okay, so wait. Do you mean if he didn't perform it before he actually did it on his thing?
If he releases Donda 2 and it's extremely good, is there any way that y'all would call it better than this Kendrick album?
They're saying it
with the leaks still. What's still with the leaks and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the leaks, and the leaks are still good. Like they're not bad.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about like the recognition.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like the album that is Donda. I'm not saying if he makes a new album. I'm saying the Donda 2 that you've heard released, would it be better? Like, is there any possibility of like Kanye, Cole? I'm saying anybody, not just y'all made it Kanye. I'm saying anybody.
Okay.
No, I mean,
God, I don't even know.
There's not a single human on earth that could, other than Bad Bunny. My bad. Bad Bunny
is gonna continue. You're what?
He has best album.
You're what?
Never mind, bro.
You didn't.
No way.
What?
No way you think I'm mean. No way you think I'm.
Bad Bunny is a goat. What do you mean?
Listen to Bad Bunny's album, dog, and then
okay. I just don't listen to him. All right, that's all.
No. Yeah, go listen to the new album. It's very good.
The world does.
I mean, you're right.
Okay, if you're talking about objectively, like the whole wide world,
I just mean rap. I don't know why I got Bad Bunny.
I'm just saying, like, there's nobody in the world that could. I'm saying.
No, he said Bad Bunny. I didn't say that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know who would even. It would have to be someone in a different genre. Like every time he releases an album, that's who he competes with.
So you don't think Kanye, Drake, any of the big dogs could drop? Of course, not JID, but I'm saying like even like a JID, anybody.
No, Jay-Z would have to cheat on Beyonce 15 more times.
Yeah, Jay-Z dropped a 555.
That's what he would. Then he would have to.
Do you want Solange to kill this nigga?
Call 555. Yeah, that'd be 555.
If Jay-Z dropped a.
Maybe call Death.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he drops, he drops an album and it's called Becky.
Oh my god.
Golly, bro.
Oh my, and it's over for y'all. Yeah, no. That might actually.
He dropped a new album and it's called Divorce.
But wait, but everybody thinks that going in on it, like you think that he's about to be like talking about like cheating, like as like it's a bad thing, but he's actually like
I did
a bunch. No, it's just like a bunch of like pop songs for white women.
Yeah,
and it's like to get the white women.
No way.
It has Earl Sweatshirt's East playing in the back.
All right.
No.
Well, I think that might be all the conversation.
Anyways, yeah, let's conclude.
I don't think there's nobody. I don't think
There's another, there's a couple more albums coming out, all Smiles, all that stuff. But
yeah, like
obviously,
what's
I feel
coming
like
out soon? Like what other albums are even?
Smiles.
Joey's dropping
I
soon.
haven't heard.
Me and ASAP are dropping soon, but
Yeah.
like, people are not fucking with Joey no more because then they get dropped.
I mean, do y'all want to like take 3 minutes to go listen to this Chance song, and then I guess have a small conversation about it?
No.
You keep plugging them in, man. You keep
No,
plugging them in.
I mean, I just want to.
It's
I mean, because
rap.
it's Chance. Like, I mean, he was
No,
was good.
But
he was
we're
at
not
least
giving him a chance.
good for all of us at
okay,
one point.
Wait, I got you. I know what it is. Okay, so you remember Christmas, Merry Christmas, Little Mama, whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's a song on one of them with two other artists, and he's like inside of a house, and they're like rapping to the screen, and I think it's Jeremiah, him, and someone else, and they're rapping.
This is a time.
No, it's like a rap. It's rapping. It's them rapping. So like a Chicago beat. It's just that.
Man. I was just throwing it out there. I really could care less about that dumbass nigga. But
Thank you.
The whole thing is I think
Come on.
if you go to YouTube, like the whole thing is like he puts it as like writing practice on his YouTube. So I think it's
Yeah.
like
he
building
needs to
back-
go practice another occupation.
Honestly, I don't even know what this dog. If this album that he comes out with is Coloring Book 2, I'm gonna lose my mind. Alright?
my wife.
That shit was
sorry.
what? What you saying? Like it's bad?
No, I'm saying like he would have to like make
Oh,
Coloring
oh,
Book
okay.
twice. He would have like if he. No, I'm saying like after all of this stuff that he's been showing, if he comes out with like an absolute classic, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Like, why would you even put these mid ass songs out?
Nah, I feel that.
I feel like this is what he'll say. I just want to expand my horizons.
Yeah.
I just want to give something for.
Well,
the
I got
fans.
a question. I got a question. So for this goes for any artist. Do you guys think that they know what will be good for other people?
I think they let people influence their take too much. Like they go in there with a certain taste they want to, and then people come in there like, nah, put this on there. I think they're just like highly influential in terms of what they have on
But
their
like
album.
their goal is to have everybody like their album, right? Let's just say that like their main goal for this album that they want to drop is have everybody like it. Do you think that they know what the people want or not?
Well, okay, so look, think of it like this, right? Times always change, and art will always be subjective. So even if you basically stick to a sound that people liked in 2019, they're not gonna like it this year. Like basically, I guess if even if Chance were to drop a Coloring Book 2, I think it'd still be pretty mid received, like amongst all people. Like yeah. I think it definitely would not be as like good as it was back in 2017. Like he's gonna have to come with something new, and still rapping his ass off type shit. Like he said he was gonna. He kind of said he was gonna try reggae. I guess I don't know how that's gonna go.
No way he said that.
Yeah,
That was real.
because he was in some like African city. Like, oh, I can't wait to show y'all what I got. And he said it was gonna be reggae. So
Yeah, people still, but people are still liking College Dropout though. That came out like what 2000?
oh, because it's a different Kanye. Yeah, we still like it because that's what we grew up listening to that. Like we like it from nostalgia, basically.
You missed the old Kanye, right?
No, we don't miss it, but we play songs in the times that we listen to them, right? So if we listen to College Dropout, we think back to like, oh yeah, I was listening to this when I was getting some ass that one day, and we of course like put those two and two together type shit.
I remember.
Yes, like and like they can't.
I'm sorry.
But I guess kind of finish it off. You guys care about this Vinyl Days coming out soon? Logic.
Oh.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
I just hope it's
Not really.
I just hope it's not 30 songs. I just hope it's
Oh,
not
no.
No, it's 30
Yeah, I
songs.
hope it's not
and
30
No, it's confirmed 30 songs and 35
for that shit
features.
to be a 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
It's what? It's what?
there's a lot of features on there with 30 songs. I mean, would y'all want me to like read the list of features that are on there?
No, can I talk about
Yeah,
one
read
feature
it.
in particular?
No.
Let me just read it off.
I don't even know these people real
Yeah,
talk.
okay, let me read it off right quick. All right, so the features on the album
He
are
said no.
Funkmaster Flex, Morgan Freeman, J.J. Abrams, Rainn Wilson from The Office.
Author?
Yeah, J.J. Abrams, like the guy that created Lost or whatever the fuck he created. Action Bronson, Russ, Nardwar, Yeah, I'm done.
Hardwell.
I mean,
They're not rappers.
there's still 75 other names on here, but like those are at the top.
What are they gonna do? though?
Fantano,
They're
Michael
not
Rappaport.
rappers.
Got me interested, though. Can I talk about one thing?
Skip Bayless.
He's putting fucking Fantano on that bitch. He's putting like he's literally just
Nah.
putting
Fantano's still gonna
actually
call that shit ass.
I'm actually interested in the Earl Sweatshirt track with him. I will.
man, give it up.
I need
Give
to
it
hear
up.
what Earl Sweatshirt sounds like on a Crazy Logic beat,
Bro.
man.
I forgot Earl dropped here.
What Logic beat has ever been crazy?
That's what I'm
Nah,
saying.
bro, I just need to hear how Earl would sound on
Other
that
than
shit.
like
That shit
maybe
actually
City
got
of
me-
Stars.
Like this nigga probably
Only-
might be like pterodactyl.
Only artist who dropped
Why
in this
you
year
sc-
that might drop a
You say
classic.
pterodactyl.
Why is that the first word you always go
Y'all just
to?
let him do that.
Dinosaurs, bro. It did.
You said what, Jazz?
The only artist that might drop a classic this year that might even pose a question to this album is probably Joey, because Joey still probably got something
Yeah,
inside
he is
of
dropping
him.
2000.
Yeah.
Nigga took my damn title. I'm suing that.
I would say JID, but I don't think he's dropping anything that's gonna
Nigga,
change.
No, he
not
is.
dropping
His
a
whole-
classic.
I don't
His
think he's
entire
dropping-
album got leaked, so I already know.
What?
What the fuck?
Bro, Chunga, you got every leak ever, bro. Come on, how you have it?
Yeah, I
here.
mean,
Hey, bro,
Like, you
I
have
know
every leak
people,
ever.
bro. I know people. I can tell you this
Don't
right
say
now.
it out here, bro. You're ruining our fucking interview, man. Don't say it.
My fault. God damn.
We do not have that album. My bad, Jed.
Okay. My fault. But I can
Alright.
say it could be a classic.
Man, fuck it then.
God
fuck
damn.
JID.
But only thing I think is that maybe Joey, but any other like rapper / art, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
ASAP Rocky's
Okay.
all smiles.
Oh,
Okay.
nigga.
Oh.
Come on, man.
You think ASAP beating
Yeah,
Kendrick? No.
ASAP
Okay,
is
Yeah.
predictions.
That nigga.
ASAP.
He's
not
not
beating
beating Kendrick.
Kendrick.
He's definitely not beating Kendrick.
no. ASAP is not doing no. And I don't think Drake is dropping this year. And if he does, it's not gonna be
Drake
anything good.
for sure dropping this year. I don't even think his CLB is what he's been working on. I
I
think,
want
I think that was honestly just Lucy's. Honestly, I mean,
You
those
think-
are, half that album was
That's what I
leaks.
Y'all
Can
think Joe
Drake-
Budden gonna jump? Y'all think
Drake-
Joe
Joe
Budden?
Budden.
Nigga, what?
No, okay,
What?
Okay,
I think Joe Budden
listen.
jump?
Predictions.
Hell
What?
no.
What if? All right. What do y'all think are the top 5 that's going to be at the end of the year?
Joe Budden.
Jeezy's album, my album, Taco's album, Apollo's
Yeah.
album.
Probably
bro, you got
top 1 or top 5 would definitely be I'd
Joe
say if Kanye really released Donda 2, that'd probably be number 1.
No, it shouldn't.
Then Kendrick, then I don't know. I really don't
I
know
got
who would even be after that.
It's
Honestly,
either Kendrick, Kanye, Denzel Curry's album was really
Maybe
that's
Cole
not gonna-
if he dropped.
I
Nigga,
fuck with
Nothing Cole.
I mean,
though.
Cole is. I don't even know how. I mean, apparently the album, the songs that he released before he did For Your Eyes Only, like that was supposed to be on this upcoming album, which I think it was Everybody
Yeah.
Dies and
What?
Prophets, which I really like those songs. So if it's like that, I would personally put it above Kendrick, which of course that'd be the
Oh,
hot
it's
take in the room.
throwback.
I mean, let's just
That
say I heard
wouldn't
a
be
couple
what?
of leaks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, if there was an entire album like Lost Prophet, or not Lost Prophet, but False Prophets and Everybody Dies, and I'd honestly probably like it more than this Kendrick album.
Yeah,
I can already-
contemporary hip hop.
I can
Yeah.
say this for a fact: there is a certain feature on this little J. Cole album that is leaked, and it's not finished.
Nigga,
Bro,
stop.
Forget about the leaks, man.
Who?
I'm just saying, man. Damn.
Who?
Don't.
Oh,
Right.
nigga.
I just,
No,
Okay,
what you
you
mean?
said
Who? What
crack.
you mean?
Who
Who?
the fuck is crack?
What?
In conclusion, Earl Sweatshirt, Logic. I need to hear that. I'm sorry.
Earl's the feature?
No, he's not. He's
No,
not.
Who is the
on Logic's
feature?
album. He's talking about Logic's album.
No, not Logic's album.
I better
J.
not
Cole's
ever
album.
see J. Cole,
J. Cole's
on
album.
any song.
There's a
Jay-Z.
feature that everybody wanted.
Who?
It's Kendrick Lamar.
Alright,
course it is, bro.
It's not.
Uh,
That nigga's no.
okay.
He's gonna be singing like he does on every other Kendrick.
Nigga,
J.
no, he's
Cole.
actually rapping on this. Shit.
Oh, I like Red Bill's
he's
album.
good.
But I think Lil ain't gonna listen.
All eyes on me.
I fuck with Red Bill though. Red, he had a really good album this year.
Yeah.
Look, what if Childish? Yeah. What if Childish
all
drops?
right. Somebody please. I'm not letting Childish. Childish drops like what? Childish drops what? Like what album would it be like?
What do you mean?
Disrespect.
Childish is not going to be top 5 of the year.
Tory Lanez.
Are you
Tory
tripping,
Lanez.
bro?
Tory Lanez.
What are you talking about? Hell no, absolutely not.
Tory Lanez. Okay, look, this is
That last album Childish dropped wasn't even top 10.
I gotta wrap this shit up. I'm not gonna hold you.
Tory Lanez.
Yeah,
Tory
bro.
Lanez is an amazing
Taco, wrap it up, bro.
artist.
Wrap it up,
What are
bro.
y'all talking about?
No, Tory Lanez is
That
good.
man made a disco
Follow
album.
Jazz
dog.
Taco featuring and Jeezy.
It's okay if you don't like an artist, but you probably have
Yeah. Bro, nobody's saying Tory's bad. I'm just saying Childish not getting top 5.
Look, I do have a couple leaks,
Dog, he has.
Bro, you need to go to this gym. How much you're trying to stretch right now, bro? No,
What?
Tom Cruise.